Morning, everyone. Well, actually, good morning. It's actually afternoon. And welcome. Um, I'd just like to speak to the fact that we're here today, and it's for the Parents and Caregivers as Partnered Conference, and I'm just going to do the land acknowledgement. You may stand if you wish. The land we are meeting on is the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations groups, Inuit, Métis. I acknowledge Inuit and Métis peoples. I acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaties, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Just one moment, please. Just allowing others to come in. Okay. Okay. Next. Okay, this presentation today is about you and school council creating a positive change together, fostering student success, equity, and well-being through collaborative leadership. Uh, um, why join school council's parent council? And here I've got this information from the Federation of Parents Francophones de Colombie-Britannique. And one of the things we really ought to do and why we join a school council is to have a seat at the table to enable ourselves to see actually what is going on and what decisions are being made to impact our children. The other thing is to build connections. We get to meet our teachers, our principals, other parents, and this helps us to have a better understanding of what's going on in the school. And the other thing that makes us feel a little bit more comfortable. The role of your school for your child. And that it's good because we want to be a role model for our kids. We want to show our kids that volunteering is a social responsibility and that it makes a difference as well. And and when we think about that, it's actually brings us to a feeling of being connected through relationships, and that's with your child, their friends, also with other parents, and that way you're better informed and you're in a positive mode to really understand what's going on in the school. And speaking further to that as being in the know, and this is just keeping up with current events, um, keeping up with what's going on, any updates at the school. And the other thing when we're speaking about being in the know is also sharing this information as well. Sometimes when I'm speaking with parents, they say, "Oh, I didn't receive it. I didn't know about it." If you have information, share it with others. And continuing on with why join a school, your school's parent council, the school belongs to the community, and therefore we should be inviting people into the schools, making them feel comfortable, and as well as the parents and caregivers feel comfortable being in the school. And the other thing is through joining the school council, you can learn some valuable skills, and that would be financial skills, fundraising skills. Um, the other thing is keeping connected to keep communication skills, communication skills, and a big one is event planning. One of the things I learned through being part of school council, and later on I utilized this in my other employment, was I utilized the whole idea of um, event planning to help with an event with my group. And the thing about it is your contribution truly makes a difference. And in saying that, you bring new skills, new knowledge that's important. So don't be afraid of joining school council because, oh, well, maybe your presence doesn't matter. It does, because it adds to make a richer environment, because we want an environment that's diverse and inclusive. And the final thing is supporting those who support your children. These are the teachers and administrators and principals, and celebrating them and working with them in an enthusiastically manner to bring change, because they're the ones dealing with your children all through the day. So you know what? Really help them when you're doing fundraising. Ask teachers what they need so you can gear it towards that. And the other final thing is, some schools will have teacher appreciation, really a nice way to celebrate the teachers at your school. And the other thing now is, I forgot, my name is Ricardo Francis. I'm a parent, caregiver, community engagement worker at the TDSB. And I do everything school council. Thank you. The next one. So now we're going to talk about parent caregiver engagement. Okay. The case for strong family and community engagement in schools. Now, this information is from the United States, and they talk about family, whereas we speak about parent caregiver engagement. And the information that we received is from Karen Mapp. She's a professor of practice focused on cultivation of partnerships among families at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. So when we talk about parent engagement, what does it do? Well, it increases student achievement at the school, greater self-esteem of the students, higher rates of graduation, and post-secondary enrollment. And the other big thing about it, if a kid loves their school, they come. So the attendance also rises as a result of that. And for the educators, it gives them increased satisfaction. They become more involved, and that could be involved in after-school activities. They understand the needs of the family because we're now engaging with them, and the thing is also a motivation for them. And this is really important, especially we've got a shortage of teachers, so we want to keep the ones that we have. And that one of the other thing is parents and caregivers get the opportunity to enjoy stronger relationships with their children, and have a better understanding as to how to navigate the school. And one of the things too, when we speak about the parents and caregivers, and also the engagement also makes them less isolated. And in saying that, one of the things we also should focus on is utilizing our translation and interpretation services to provide to those parents and caregivers that English isn't a first language. And then they talk about school districts, we are school boards and communities. And that is in bringing in external resources into the school. We've seen after school activities. We also can speak to programs during the day, and workshops for parents and caregivers to get them involved in the school and provide them with resources that would assist them in helping their child. I'm just going to play this video. And just one moment.
As we work to help every child succeed and to close gaps in student achievement, we often assume school is the main place that learning is going to happen. Take Esma. It used to seem to her family and her educators that Esma is always at school. Not true, it turns out. Esma and other students actually spend 82% of their waking hours at home or in their community. All those weekends, weeknights, and breaks add up. When they realized that, the educators in Esma's school district decided to work harder on making the most of the biggest partner in her learning life, her family. This can look different in every school, but for Esma's teacher, it means instead of spending his time arranging a traditional open house, he organizes grade-level parent meetings. Here, Esma's family saw data on how the class is doing in math, reading, social and emotional learning. They practiced new ways to help Esma at home, and set goals for how they'll help her improve. Everyone learned from each other as the group talked about how to help the students. Also, near the start of the school year, some staff from Esma's school visited her home. They looked for the assets her family members can bring to the educational process. They learned about their languages, their culture, their lives, their world. Grandpa offered to be a resource for other English learner families, and the school also listened and learned from the family's perspective on Esma's needs. They learned how Mom helps her calm down and focus. This kind of family engagement also makes it easier for the district to develop individualized education programs for students, including those in special education. The foundation is already there for families to engage in their students' academic and career planning too, making that more effective. Throughout the year, the family can attend workshops at the school on things like mental health, homework, or career exploration. Esma's mom saw those meetings on a poster in her work break room, and now she's inviting other parent friends to go with her. Esma's school district works with local businesses, places of worship, the public library, and other partners to reach students and families where they're already spending time. The school provides information frequently in a variety of ways so they can reach every family. Text messages are offered in the most common languages of local families. Esma's family gets photos from her teacher so they know what she's doing during the day. Communication between the school and the family is a group effort, focused on helping Esma achieve her learning goals. When Esma wasn't sure what to do on a science assignment, her family knew to contact the teacher for a little clarification. Educators take a positive approach as they look for solutions to any challenges experienced on either side. They're always looking for the family's strengths. Also, when Mom mentions that Esma has trouble making friends, the teacher knows to refer her to the school counselor. The counselor then helps the family join a local Boys and Girls Club with lots of activities for Esma. The teacher knew to do this because the school counselor led staff trainings on resources available in the community and how to help families access them. There's no danger of a family like Esma's ever feeling like an occasional onlooker. The school knows what families have to offer, and the family knows what's going on in the classroom and how to support it. They feel they are active and regular collaborators and decision makers. The district gives families opportunities to learn how to help children succeed at each level of the school system and to serve on school groups. At school gatherings, Esma's adult stepsister and close next-door neighbor also feel included in the community. Staff at the school are trained to be as inclusive as possible, welcoming as learning partners anyone who cares about the child. Esma's school has moved from parent involvement to family engagement. Not surprisingly, engaged families help students learn better. Staff members like their jobs better. Everyone wins. This is backed up by over 40 years of research.
Okay. I hope that video was helpful in terms of giving you an opportunity to get a further understanding of the value of parent caregiver engagement, and also using that as a tool for school council. You use that in terms of being able to share information around the parent involvement and the importance of it. And the other thing is broadening in terms of those people on the school council. We should try and connect with people that are on marginalized and those that are hard to reach as well. I'm just going to speak to our multi-year strategic plan and our TDSB's policies and procedures, and how that will helps us in terms of running our school councils. So in this presentation, we'll discuss school councils like ours and how they can use guiding principles to shape our goals and initiatives. By aligning our efforts with those priorities, we ensure that we're contributing to a better educational experience for all students in our community, and parents and caregivers, and individuals that we can share information with outside of our communities as well. Go in partnership with other school councils to better our approach. Okay. Understanding TDSB policies on inclusive and anti-oppression education. The TDSB has developed key policies focused on equity, anti-racism, and anti-oppression. And that's the whole idea of this framework, is to ensure that we work together as a community, bring broader understanding to our community, and really take advantage of the richness of the various people in our organization, and really stop be more equitable and stop areas of anti-racism and anti-oppression. And how do we do that? And what are the goals of inclusive and anti-oppressive education? First, it's to foster culturally relevant curriculum and programming through parent caregiver advocacy. The other one is to promote diverse learning. That means bringing in different books, exploring histories of different individuals and their identities. And then also the big thing is making people through this process, making them feel seen and valued. And the other thing is to amplify diverse voices. Many times individuals, because they're not in the majority, feel isolated. We want to really bring those individuals in, especially those that are underrepresented. And then the other thing is to help support our teachers and the school in promoting the anti-oppressive education, and ensure that that things that are happening in the school are representative of the school community in terms of the membership. And then the other thing is advocacy, and that is working with our educators and developing culturally appropriate teaching practices. Okay. And now, still continuing on the goals of anti-oppressive education, and that's about creating safe spaces for parent and caregiver voices. And here's how we could do it. We could do it through leading, supporting parent-led groups, and this could be affinity groups or just groups after school to come and speak to issues that happen around, that they see happening around anti-oppression. We can encourage anonymous feedback, and this can be done by, and this is not just for anti-oppression, this could be for any concerns or tips that people have, or ideas that people would like to share. You can put in an anonymous box, like down a hallway, that parents can put their suggestions in, as well as students, and promote mentorship amongst our parents and caregivers. And this means that even for part of the school council, if you're a school council chair and you're leaving, it's really to continue that continuity by helping recruit or looking at other people to ensure that they have an understanding of what the school council involved and a history of what you've done at the school. And the final one is to advocate for open sessions for dialogue. And this is really where parents feel the opportunity that they can speak freely. But when we're speaking freely, we have to understand that that speaking freely is not to harm anyone else. It's just to be open and honest about what we observation and how we're feeling. Okay, so one of the things is how we embed equity and anti-racism in school council practices. The first thing, and we should ensure that we have diverse representation. And that is about going out and trying to entice those individuals that are not part of the school council to be a part of that school council. And in saying that again, a number of our parents, English is not their first language, so we should focus on providing them with we have interpretation and translation services at the school that you can utilize. The other thing is advocate for inclusive policies and practices, and this will to ensure that these practices are being upheld within the school board, but also for ourselves. When we're talking about advocacy, we got to make sure that we are following those practices as well. And the other thing is to raise awareness and educate. Sometimes individuals don't even realize what they're doing could be harmful to others. And in order to do that, we have to really educate. And when I speak about educating, it's not about forcing people it's about bringing that awareness to people. And the other thing is to implement equity in decision making. And that means when you're making decisions for the school, even like funding for events or programs, ensure that you've reached out to the broader community to get an understanding as to what those needs and wants are. Okay, so this is what the role of the school council in supporting academic achievement and well-being. As the video demonstrated, your involvement in the school council can raise their children's test scores and their well-being in the school, make them feeling better. So how do we accomplish this? And this is through collaboration with administrators, teachers and staff, parents and caregivers, and the community to create initiatives that help students achieve their best while also fostering an environment where their emotional and mental health is prioritized. Now we got to keep in mind that 82% of our child's time is spent in the community or at home. So where does this really start in terms of support for your child? It starts at home. And how can we help with that? By school councils providing workshops and tools to help parents have their children succeed. Okay, promoting community engagement in line with TDSB policies. We have the multi-year strategic plan. We have a community and parent caregiver engagement policies. We have a number of policies that allow us to for A, know how to approach things, and B, have some framework that we can rely on to state how things can be. And really what we're looking at is how can we promote a greater parent caregiver involvement for stronger communities, school communities, right? Okay, so as you can see, addressing barrier to participation within the TDSB framework. As you can see, these are some of the picture in the background. We were showing some hurdles, and that's really what it is for some people in terms of participating at the school or even participating in school council. And we've got eliminate those barriers. And we got to encourage broad participation, provide ideas as to how we can use um, our policies to create more inclusive, accessible opportunities for all parents and caregivers to get involved. And that means providing language supports, flexible meeting times, or providing child minding. You just got to be innovative, just any way that you can think of to allow parents to join in with school council and to participate. And the other one is creating hybrid school council meetings, which means a hybrid is an in-person, and you also have a Zoom or other formats to connect with parents. Okay. One of the big things that I love about the multi-year strategic plan, and because I also have a background in mental health, is that it emphasizes joy, wellness, and wholeness. So if we should support initiatives that advocate for our children, and provide counseling and seek counseling services and stress relief activities for parents as well, and mindfulness practice. School can help organize these programs as well, but you have to bring it to the school's attention as to what you think is best for the school. And the other thing is, I find that we should do more of this in schools, is celebrate school spirit and achievements. And this is by organizing events that celebrate student success. And we can have talent shows. And in doing these things, we get a multicultural festivals and spirit days. And when we're speaking about these activities, we can also look at, and when we talk about the multicultural, ensure that we have a diverse representation in those programs, and to be allow us to celebrate other cultures. And that one of the other things that when we want that joy, wellness, and opportunity, it's really about fostering connections. And this is fostering connections with families. And so by creating these opportunities, we can have family nights, volunteer opportunities, social gatherings. This strengthens the school community and helps students feel supported and connected to others, both in and out of the classroom. The other thing is to encourage holistic health programs. Now, there's a number. We could go through Toronto Public Health. They have a number of programs that address physical and emotional and social health. We could also do activities where we combine with parents and caregivers and students, and like fun nights and nutritional education. These activities nurture the whole child, helping students thrive in all areas of their lives. And here we're talking about leveraging TDSB school council bylaws and Regulation 612. And by the way, there's the Q&A that you could put questions in, but there's also at the end, I will be sharing information with you that you can find these resources to support you and your school councils. Okay, so the TDSB school council bylaws and Regulation 612 define our roles, and our roles in terms of this roles and responsibility of the school council and the decision-making processes. By following the guidelines, we ensure we operate with transparency and accountability. They also provide us with ways of addressing conflicts, which is a big thing sometimes with school councils, where we have these issues arising, and we feel like, oh, how do we address those issues? It's great to have this guideline. It's in our bylaws as to how to address conflicts. And there's other policies that we can review in terms of further understanding of the TDSB's goals and practices. We can utilize the TDSB equity policy and the parent and engagement policy PO23. And the other thing too that we do a lot of is fundraising. And a lot of times we're doing fundraising, but fundraising should be connected to a need of the school, and should, before you start the fundraising, you should consult with the entire school body and then vote on it with the school council membership. And one thing I forgot, also consult with your administrator as well. Okay, so here we see monitoring progress and sustaining inclusive practices. We start off with a vision. We have goals. We plan. We take action, and then we have successes. Sometimes we do not have successes, but that's okay. But what we have to do is put systems in place to monitor and evaluate whether things that we're doing are actually working. Ensure that programs are sustainable and meet the needs of your community. Evaluate what you could do better and how to communicate better to the hard to reach parents, those marginalized parents and caregivers, to have them, because sometimes we're doing things and we've got to try and encourage those individuals to come on board. And when we're talking about these practices, one of the things too is for school council chairs and school council members, get out into the community. Inform them as to what we're doing at our schools. Inform them that you inform and invite them to school council, and make them feel comfortable when they arrive. And again, ensure that if they're people that English is not their first language, that we provide them with interpretation and translation services. Now, I just have this conclusion. And what I'm going to say here, I'm just going to read it to you as is. In conclusion, you, and that's parents, caregivers, and school council members, are active members of the school council, are essential part of making real positive change at your school. By aligning with the goals of the TDSB multi-year strategic plan, we can create a school community that prioritizes student achievement, equity, well-being, and community confidence. Together, we are not just part of a school system, we are part of the change for the better. I'd like to thank you for your commitment to this important work. I look forward to working with you at your schools to create a more inclusive and supportive and thriving school community. And I also want to add, I'm also here to help you in creating a robust school council. I'd like to now move to the questions and answers. And if you have any questions and answers, please put them in the Q&A. And here's my information. And this is what I'm speaking to in terms of the resources. You can either scan this, or I will actually put it in the chat for you, where you can find these resources. They're continually being updated, and we look for, so just 1 second, just gonna put it in the chat for you. And we're going to end the recording as well.